and we're gonna do some streaming madness. And here we go. What's going on, guys? The time has come. We are back now for session. Man, I did it. I told myself, thank you. I told myself for these games I wasn't gonna try to track the session number because inevitably I would forget it, because you always do. But session 7 it is, of A Tale of Three Dragons.
How about this? How about we name it Session Angry at Person?
Sure. Session angry at person. I also am confused. Are we mad? Did something we fight?
Oh, we are very angry.
At who?
That's why we left.
Yes. I got the NPC in my campaign that I am tracking and paying attention to. Yes, that one is who we're mad at.
I'm disappointed.
Yes,
I'm just disappointed.
So are my parents. It's cool. It's fine.
Oh God. Okay.
Tiki, Mac, thank you guys so much for your support again. Chase has had with his Patreon because he is in a foreign land and American banks and craziness. So he will hopefully be back with us in a couple weeks. We're still Tale of not this many dragons, but we are a little on the behind side. So I'm just gonna hit that one.
Tale of some number of dragons.
The Tale of X Dragons, where X is the number of players who arrive in the session. Anru is up first for the in-character reflection for the hero points.
Not exactly sure why torching my message, scorching it into his floorboards was not acceptable, but that's fine. I was able to put it in many more languages by writing it down. I must give that to my friend Trask, but I don't know when we're coming back to this, and truthfully, if we wind up resurrecting Kiyome before he resurrects them, then yeah, I don't know what the monastery's leaders would think of this. Truthfully, this has never come up before. I mean, I'm still thinking on how the house would handle things. Maybe it's my old evil ways rearing their head, but I don't know. I guess I should listen to my conscience, the wee furry wizard folk.
That's you, Mac. Wee furry wizard folk. The rat folk wizard is what's at the party today. Take that hero point, Anru and Ross. GM of the Greenwich Colonies, by the by. The first prologue went live like 7 or 8 hours ago as of recording this. Super hyped to shocking grasp all the things, but for now, how's Trask feeling? Shiny new sword, shiny new betrayal.
Yeah, I could very, very, very happily do without the betrayal.
Same, honestly.
Yeah. That being said, it's been worse. At the moment, as much as I hate to say it, we're actually up quite a bit in terms of resources and power. Hell, I myself can even feel my abilities growing stronger now, and as much as I hate to say it, if nothing else, this gives us a momentary time to realize the full scope of what it is we're going up against. This isn't some raiding party on the border or something else that we were told other members of our monastery had to do in order to earn their colors. No. There's a lot at foot, and any sort of hesitations, like anything that I could have had that could slightly be considered hesitant about the scope of this matter is gone, long gone, as now I'm just struggling to come to grasps with how deep we've gotten ourselves into.
Fair enough, take that hero point. And by the by, since we are on Twitch, and if you're watching this on Twitch, remember, it's Black Dragon Gaming on YouTube for all of your Pathfinder 1st and 2nd edition needs, which now does in fact include the Pathfinder Kingmaker CRPG, which I've got all my friends to buy because it's good from streaming it.
Damn you, Tommy.
It's good though, it's so good. But also, I'm looking at my...
It is good.
I got a bunch of notifications as I went to my dashboard. We have passed over 50 followers on Twitch, and we've met 3 out of the 4 in the very short time since August. I've had a Twitch. We've met 3 out of the 4 qualifications for Twitch affiliate. So that's super sweet, and I have you guys to thank. It's the most amazing. But okay, anyway, there's a game. We've started late. We got to do that thing. So you guys, you receive word staying at Yuli's in, that Hiei has gone deeper into the mountains with some of the kitsune to meditate. His condition has gotten a lot worse. It almost like some of the oracles and clerics in the town compare it along the lines of like what happens when one is exposed to a shadow's touch attack just like repeatedly over the course of their life, and then like they get the strength and then it's drained and whoop, 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 back and forth. He's a shadow of his former self. He sends his regards. He's going to try to meditate through it and hopes to join you guys as soon as possible. Of course, Hero will remain with the party as a 3-hit dice horse animal. Essentially, Anru gets an animal companion is how that works. Animal companion with a Jingasa of the Fortunate Soldier. But other than that, you guys have...
Look, our horse has got to be fly. As fly as he thinks he's got to look as fly as he feels he is.
That is accurate. You guys also have pretty much within reason all the time in the world. You can stay in this village before returning to the monastery to report back to the master and try to figure out how to remove your poison, to craft, to practice a trade, etc., etc. I know Tarask was talking about making some stuff. Now would be the time.
Well, at the moment, a lot of the stuff I want to make requires more than just 2,000 gold, so...
That is fair.
Well, the first thing I want to do is make that effortless lace, so that way I can use this roca that I found, or well, we've found, a bit better. Or, part of me is... To be completely honest, part of me is still debating that. Do I want to use the roca itself, or do I just want to simply remove the pearls of power from it and allow it to be used by my ally? Because, to be honest, the best thing about it for me is the pearls. Yeah,
that's fair.
And I imagine I can remove those pretty easily, or get help with
that.
that.
Yeah, you can.
In all honesty, you would know from my fighting style that I would never actually wield the weapon. I would probably just have it on my back and use it to activate its level 1 darkness effect.
That's not anything you have to activate. It's like the flaming enchantment, but instead it just radiates darkness. It is a +2 umbral roca. +2 umbral roca. I cannot speak my language. Jesus, with 3 pearls of power in it.
Two first, 1 second.
2 first in a second. You got it. Also, you could pop the pearls out and sell it for. It's got a +3 enchantment and a +2 enhancement bonus. You sell for half, so you get the crafting price back. You get a pretty penny. And also, you guys think that. Well, you more than think. You know that the people in this village, as you stay here, they continue to sing the praises of the 3 of you for saving them. So you probably could even get more if you wanted. But the effortless lace, it costs 1,250 gold is the construction requirements. You need craft magic arms and armor and shrink item. The DC is 20. So without shrink item, the DC is 25.
And then I don't have arms and armor yet, so that's 30.
I think you need. I'm pretty sure you need the feat to.
I'm pretty certain you need the craft one, and I can't get craft arms and armor until 5.
Yes. Yeah, you have wonder side of arms and armor. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Now on the other side of that.
Yeah, so you don't meet the requisites.
You do not, and you can't put. I was gonna say you could put the agile enchantment on it as well, but you can't because it doesn't qualify for the agile enchant. Might actually. Let me double check that. I'm second guessing myself here. Agile Pathfinder. I don't know why I went to my Mirrodin voice, which is gonna change a lot. There's gonna be a lot of Scottish boys in Greenwich Colony. Agile wielder with the weapon finesse feat can choose to apply a dex mod to damage with an agile weapon in place of. Okay, yeah. So, but the modifier to damage is not increased. Okay, yeah. The requirement says it must be placed on finessable weapons, so that doesn't work.
It's not the major concern anyway.
Yeah.
To be honest, selling it probably will be a good idea. That only just brings up the problem of when I eventually get to Kinsai, but that's 2 levels away from now, so.
That's fair.
Well, by the time I get to Kinsai, let me see when I can get craft magical arms and armor.
So just a slight interruption.
Is there?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yes, a slight interruption.
Okay.
What Mirrodin was trying to say when he showed up unannounced was a shameless plug. Come see us at the Tales of Greenwich. I forget what it is, but
Call it
anyway,
my
there's
man.
going to be beard. There's going to be beard bros. We're going to drink beer and beat shit up.
You kind of sound like. Are you intentionally trying to sound like Violet J from ICP when you do that voice? Because that's what I hear. That's definitely like
that. No, that was just a random one.
Oh,
So anyway, so you know, you should come see it because lots of beer and beating things up.
Lots of beer and beating things up while Mirden does this probably, and the paladin is even more sad. Okay, so if we're gonna sell this bad boy, Umbral, I'm trying to
Shameless
find.
plugs.
There we go. So
I think we will sell it. I think selling it might be the best idea, Tiki, to be honest, because by the time I get to 5th level, which is around the time I expect to take some Kensai monk levels, I could get craft magical arms and armor, and then I could just create my own weapon that I want from the scratch.
Yeah, and that one's got teeth in it.
Yeah, that one's also kind of got teeth in it, and it looks weird, and I think I feel it wiggle in my hands every now and then when I pick it up, so it's kind of giving me bad vibes. Oh god, it's touching me. Ah!
Oh.
And it's a +3 weapon. That's
it's got a total of +5 weapon enchantments on it. 3 from Umbral and 2 an enhancement. So even
right, Umbral's
So even popping the
okay.
popping the pearls out, you still make a pretty hefty. You would make
so yeah,
20. You make 25,000.
Get your pearls.
Oh.
Yeah, half market price, so +5 weapon, plus the masterwork cost, plus the weapon itself.
Yeah.
So like 20. We'll call it like 26, because Rokas are weird in their masterwork.
Yeah, and it's made with teeth.
And it's made with teeth.
I think 26,000 is more than enough money for us to get started on some useful stuff there. What do you think, Tiki? All right, we'll sell it.
Okay, someone is definitely able to buy it from you. They don't necessarily. There's not a lot of call for warriors in this part of the world. This town is close enough to the monastery, which you guys are. To put you guys in rank, you guys are Padawans who would have became Jedi Knights, but then oopsie, a thing happened, so you're like not Jedi Knights. But the temple from whence you come is the temple in Coruscant. So you're close enough to Coruscant that somebody can just send the Jedi if something bad happens. So again, no warriors, but it ends up, they put it on display, actually, is what they do. A couple of kits come on by, and they wrap it up and stab it in the middle of the town, like in the ground, to commemorate your victory. While you pull the pearls of power out of the Roka, because they are calcified humanoid eyes, the other side is, there's a little bit of like gross, sticky, icky as you like pop it out like that, and it smells a little bad. There's a little drip. You're not quite sure what it is. Also, you think the eyes kind of and I may be saying this because Soul Calibur 6 is right around the corner, but it kind of for a second seems like all the eyes, as you pop them out, they kind of like rotate to like glare unblinkingly at you, but you're not sure if you imagine that or not, because it's a very macabre weapon.
You should probably take those, dip them in molten metal so they can't look at you anymore.
Man's got a point.
That's a very tempting idea.
Or at least cover them in something. Creepy.
So what are we thinking about crafting on? What are we making? Or rather, actually, what is Enru doing? Because it's going to be a lot more on Tarask for a while.
Oh, yeah. While Tarask is doing his thing, I'm basically writing out a letter to Kiyomi's family, explaining exactly what the leader of this particular group promised and what he did not deliver upon. Written out in both Tian and Draconic.
Okay.
Because I don't know exactly what they speak, but I have my beliefs. Anyway, writing out the letter saying, what he promised, what he did not deliver, and his excuse delivered not in person but cowardly through his sonic crystal. Also, that we are returning to the monastery, but we have not given up on our plans to resurrect Kiyome. We are just going to try to move to a larger settlement so we can find a higher level healer to enact the resurrecting.
Okay.
I know exactly what I'm going to build.
And I will deliver the message, but seeing as I promised the next time I was in their home I would be bringing Kiyome back, I just leave it in their mail and leave.
Okay, works for me.
I do not enter.
Understood. Alright, sir, ask what
I
you
know
got.
what I think I know what we need to make for us, knowing what
What's
our
that?
characters are. I can make us both monks of robes. Monk's robe.
Monk robes are very
yeah,
strong.
monk robes.
Yep. And I know I'm taking monk levels next level, so that monk level next level, so that'd be really good. And it's only 6,500 to make.
Yeah, assuming the DM would allow the monk rogues to apply to my accelerist.
Yes, it would. Yes, it would. That works.
All right, that finds.
Oh, nice. So yeah, unfortunately, I don't have the spell, but I do have the money. So what would that make the DC for this?
Hang on just a sec. Let me pop it up here. I have 1.5 million tabs open. And Facebook might ping because I messaged Tim because I wanted to get a hold of the Unchained crafting rules. Good item, says Ghost Patron. And yes, I agree. The monk robes, it's like the robes of arcane heritage for sorcerers. They're just real good. Especially at this level. Monks!
Yeah!
Robe, not bobe. R is for robe, and that's what we are. Hooray. Robe monks. Oh, I see why you said it that way. That's fair. Alright, so it's normally a DC 15. You lack Righteous Might or Transformation, so it's DC 20.
And I would be making it using my spell modifier, or my spellcraft, and my spellcraft is 11.
And I don't know if I said this in chat, I don't think I did, but I'm going to say it now so everybody on Twitch and on YouTube can hear. I want to make the craft rolls secret rolls, where you guys tell me your mod, and we know what the DC is. So in that case, if you fumble, and the item like should knock down your monk level or something, you don't know it until bad times, because otherwise it's just like a hero point tax.
Oh, okay. Very well then.
And we cannot take 10 or 20 on these. These have to be rolled.
Yes, I am aware of that. Unfortunately, shoot, I didn't take that one spell, the one that gives you bonuses on craft rolls.
Yeah, Crafter's Fortune.
No, but once you get back, I can try rolling craft with you.
That is fair. Or you could also, it stands to reason, you could, though there's not a lot of like warriors in this part of the world, there are a fair share of casters, and there, if you can find someone to cast it for you, that counts. Or should you like come upon a scroll or a wand or something like that, that does also work.
Yeah, this being a magical village.
Yeah. How much would it cost to find a wand with let me see which one is the cheapest.
A wand of Righteous Might?
Yeah, that one's the cheapest. You know, a wand of Righteous Might would say 3 charges left to it.
Well, the first thing is you'd have to make a UMD. You would need to make a UMD on Righteous Might because that isn't on your spell list, which is probably something you can do. But
well, that is assuming we find someplace that actually sells partially used wands.
Transformation is on your spell list, but it's a level higher at 6.
Transformation, yeah, that would be more expensive though.
You can give me some
a single casting purchased from a spellcaster is the spell level times the caster level times 10, and if we are in good standing here, they may give us a discount.
That is fair.
It doesn't actually cost them anything.
So the spell level times the caster levels. So if we were to use Righteous Might, that would be 5 times the caster level would probably be, assuming we're using minimum.
Minimum for a level 6 spell is like 12. Or Righteous Might would be 10. Yeah.
Yeah.
If that's on a wizard spell list, it's one lower. So, because wizards and cleric get it lower than everybody else, depending on who gets it.
Yeah, we get it at 11th. That's when we would get access to that. So that'd still be 16 times 10, 160.
Yeah. You can.
That's
Without making a diplomacy check, you do come upon a traveling Tengu who, as he walks through the village, one of his feet, he kind of like drags it behind him, and you can see that both of his, like, I'll say arms, that feels a little incorrect, and I feel like I might say claws instead, but it is the things he grabs with, both of them are very badly burned. He wears big, white, almost like Pope-esque robes without the hat, and it's, you guys, the monastery doesn't necessarily train oracles, because you don't train an oracle. It's like you don't train a sorcerer. It just happens. The Tengu is willing to cast the spell for 50 gold.
Do we want to go? Do we want to go ahead and make one of these robes for Hiei for in the hope that he returns? I think that makes sense.
We're not going to really. The robes cost take several days to make.
Unless he wants to increase the DC by 5 to cut it in half, it'll take you 6 days a robe. Which again, you guys have to
There's also cooperative crafting. So if you've got somebody helping you, that might also decrease the amount of time. But need feats for that. Never mind.
That you do.
I think going with the casting will be fine.
Well, if we're buying the casting, that's lowering the DC, and then we can bump it up to get stuff done faster. So there's choices.
It does break even.
I want to make sure we take everything to make sure this doesn't go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You also have a hero point if you flub it.
But again, these rolls are secret, so that hero point.
Yeah.
I want to say that hero point can't be used because
if you cast the spell.
Mm-hmm.
If you cast a spell in its 5th level, can I make a scroll of it?
No. He could make a scroll. Well, he doesn't. The dice will decide. He does not have the ability to make scrolls. The Tengu just kind of shakes his head.
Oh. And then that doesn't work because that's a potion.
Right.
Well, shucks. Then I guess we're just gonna have to go with the whole pay 50.
Okay.
50 per.
Yeah, will he be staying around long enough for us to get that help?
Yes. As well, the dice agree with my indecision. Yes, he will. He begins making his way into Yuli's inn. Yuli, of course, is Yuli. And, oh, hello! You want mushroom? You do not eat mushroom. You are a bird. Will make sick. You throw up everywhere and then feed to babies or something. I do not know how birds work. I am from Darklands. And he just kind of brings him.
You've been on the surface?
Not for long. Not see bird. See fox. see rat. See drown noble. See lots of hobgoblin. Then you kill hobgoblin. Not see hobgoblin anymore, except for heads on pikes. But we not tell anyone that I may have done this. Wink, 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 wink. I really want to play Yuli in a long game.
The drow is just laughing at this point. She has actually come to find Yuli very hilarious.
Yuli is very hilarious. This is correct. He is best NPC. Also, the Tengu is going to stay for about a week. He's on a pilgrimage from Kwanlai up and around, like, through Minkai, up through the Forest of Spirits, through Hungal, and then over the Crown of the World to Avestan.
All right, so it's a day per 1,000 gold or per 1,000 gold pieces of the crafting cost, and if you bump it up by 5, it cuts that time in half.
Yes, so we could go 3 days per.
I'm not gonna risk that.
A DC. What do you add?
I have a plus 11.
A plus 11, a DC 20, so you'd need to roll a 9 or better. And you could use your hero point for a plus 8 or a plus 4 after. But the plus 4 after
I'm just gonna go ahead and take the full time, so that way then I only need a 4 to hit the DC.
Okay, fair enough. Is that your final answer?
That is my final answer.
Here comes the first one. Okay. Will you roll percentage dice for me? We are using.
Oh,
it's nothing bad. It's nothing that bad. This is from Pathfinder Unchained. Tim shared these with me a long time ago. It keeps item creation a little more around for everyone. Okay, so a 68 indicates that. Oh, okay, fun. Okay. So Tarask begins.
Fun for you or fun for us?
Fun for everyone. Welcome to Pathfinder.
God help us.
Yeah, that's not inaccurate. So
Oh,
a
God,
couple days begin to pass. The Tengu sticks around, and he. You can tell by the way he carries himself. You can tell by the way he uses his walk that he is a lame oracle, but in fact he also has a scaled fist level.
You tell by the way I
Use my walk. I got my chart to AC. I'm a Tengu. And he kind of like he takes a vested interest in what you're making, and he doesn't necessarily help, but he stays around. And a day passes, and that first night, you guys end up. It's kind of colder up here. It's like you've gone to a weird Forest of Spirits perpetual winter. But that night, it's unseasonably, for this like weird demiplane-esque place, warm, as if the spirits are happy that the hobgoblins and the Urdefin have been pushed out of their lands. It goes from being like a February day in, at least like in the Midwest where I live, to like a night in like the end of August, like 80 degrees, all the crickets are chirping, it's super nice, not a cloud in the sky, and then you look up and several very bright lights in the sky, like you watch before your eyes behind Galarian's moon, they just line up in the blink of an eye.
Well, then, I'll finish making the robes.
Okay.
Kind of musing to myself, good omen, I'd say. Kind of think to myself, the kami are happy, and that is always a good sign for those who seek to aid them and be aided by them.
Okay.
But this first robe, I'm going to keep the first one for myself.
Okay. Does Anru want to? Does Anru or Tarask, like it is very peculiar what's going on in the skies overhead. It doesn't seem to be like super interacting with you, but it's there.
I'll cast Detect Magic and see if I can't really, or combination of Detect and Read Magic if need be to try and figure out what's going on.
Okay. You cast both. You do the stuff. It's to like do that. You'd be like Detect Magic, point in the sky. We're more looking like a perhaps like a Knowledge the Planes check, if you have that.
Knowledge Planes? Yeah. I do have that. 16.
16. Okay, that's not.
Well, let's see if Farron can do better.
Okay.
20.
20.
Farron does better.
20 is better. Okay, so what happens is Tarask looks up, and Anru can interact with this as well. The whole point of the Unchained crafting rules is it's supposed to bring the players who are not the item crafters into the process. So before I go any further...
Well, how can I interact with it?
Your call. Skill checks are a thing. Any, like, spells you could go... You can't cast a lot of spells. Skill checks, basically, is the name of the game to try to figure out what's going on.
Oh, I can cast some spells.
Just cast Levitate.
No. Straight up cast Deeper Darkness into it.
Okay. Well, into it is like, this is a celestial event that's happening in space. So, like, you could guess it.
Oh, but it's an eclipse, though, right?
Kind of. It's more like Tarask looks up and he realizes that all of the planets in Galarian's solar system are spontaneously aligning. Tarask believes it's not necessarily the best thing, and it's a bad omen, and his foot kind of goes in his mouth reflexively, and he gets a little nervous, but Farron kind of like just bumps you and shakes his head no, and that's not what it is. It's not necessarily that the planets are like well aligned or anything of that nature, but it's just kind of a random celestial event. Anru gets
spellcraft check.
Anru gets the same. So then that means in the first monk's robes are created, nothing really, you guys can't super really work anything out with it. And the monk's robes do
I did want to know what skills I could actually try to use.
You could do, spellcraft is fine. Knowledge of the planes is definitely a thing. I
have knowledge, nature, history, and arcana.
Okay, nature works. Okay, that's a little better. Okay, so what goes down here is Anru is able to determine that the planets actually they're not aligning or not aligning. This is literally like a phenomenon the kami are causing to happen over your heads. And in doing this, they are blessing the crafting. It doesn't. I'll go ahead and resolve that here. I will say I did in fact roll a natural 1 for your craft check, but we have a success on the Unchained crafting. So instead of cutting the craft time down by a day, what I'm gonna do is the natural 1 does not resolve and the item is successfully created.
Oh, you.
And now I don't need to go get a table for what happens to the bad monk robes. Would you like to try a second one?
Yes.
All right, here we go.
I would.
Okay. Roll me those percentage dice. I do like this table quite a bit. It keeps everybody involved. 41. Oh, okay.
That's not a good sign either.
It's not necessarily that it's a bad sign. It's how the hell... Reroll. Illegal ingredients doesn't make sense considering that just a second ago it was fine. 22. Okay, that works. I like this one. Is this for Hiei or is this for Onru?
This is mine because he had.
This is Honors.
Okay, so it dawns on Tarask as Tarask is creating this that there's like it's not working. The process is not coming together the same way that it was before. The last one was pretty planar, events aside, easy for you to put together, but this one, like, you can't quite put it together. And it really it gets under Tarask's skin. It frustrates him. And in that frustration, it dawns on you that the reason you cannot create this item is because you need to be able to harness a particular raw emotion. You believe that's because it's going to Onru, and that's the nature of the magic. For you, it was like, this is for me, cool. And then suddenly, like, here's this, your friend who you've been with for a long time and you've been through really harrowing ordeals with, and now you're more or less making a powerful gift for her. All of these things, I will say, all of these things are resolved through basically creative skill checks.
So I need to put some sort of emotion into this to kind of represent.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna, upon realizing this, I'm just gonna look at the robes, kind of just pick them up, and give them a big old hug.
Damn it. That's really good. Okay, make me a... It calls for either a bluff check to manipulate others or elicit through performance with a perform check. So I guess like you're supposed to like do it like over a big show. But for this one, let's call it... To call it a diplomacy check feels wrong. But yeah, make a diplomacy check. Onru can interact with it as well. Onru is aware of all of these things as they're occurring. Unless Tarask specifically wants to like withhold the information.
No.
Okay, boom, there we go. Okay, so Tarask goes to hug it and it's kind of like, he kind of breaks down a little and he hugs through the robe and kind of like off the other side falls
While
over.
he's doing this, I'm not actually intending directly to the thing. It just reminds me of a song that was sung at the monastery when I first got there, before I even really fully understood the Tian language. It's the first thing I actually learned for the Tian language.
The Hymn of the Faith comes to mind from Final Fantasy X, but beautiful. And I like that flavor. We'll call that a critical success. These rules do use the 4 degrees of success from the playtest. So what happens is, through that song and through Tarask's awkwardness, the two of you have this moment together. Again, under the celestial event, and the warm summer night continues to happen. And it's really heartwarming. You guys end up staying up a lot later than you intended making this thing. And through the power of that, through the power of your feelings, the item costs 5% less to craft than you had paid, and has 1 additional perk. I'm scrolling to the perk table. So the 5% less, I'll let you figure that one out on your end, but roll me percentage dice one more time.
All right.
I like this table a lot. I'm glad I decided to do this. This feels good.
52.
52. Okay, ooh, I like that one. Okay, so... Okay, it says random skill, but I want this to be useful. The monk's robes are completed. 3 more days pass. Anru goes to put them on, and as Anru puts them on, they kind of, like... They're not as baggy as Tarask's are, and they kind of blend with the surroundings a little, and blend with, like, the color of Anru's hair, Anru's skin, even, like, the torches as they're drawn, almost to camouflage Anru, and mechanically, in addition to being monk's robes, it gives you a +1 competence bonus on stealth checks.
Nice.
Here's
what?
+1 competence on stealth. Here's hoping that stacks with your traits and stuff.
Oh, it does.
Nice. All right, one more. This one for Hiei.
All right, then.
Also,
Yep.
you did succeed the check. Okay. So give me those percentage dice.
35.
35. What's 35? 35 is... Okay, this one could be fun. Okay, so another 3 days pass. Tarask continues to... Essentially, just at this point, I imagine you just take Hiei's robes. You do find him at the top of one of these mountains meditating with a couple of kitsune that are considerably older than you guys. It's not uncommon for the shorter-lived races at the monastery when they retire to return to villages like this and just live their lives out in peace. Essentially, that's who Hiei's fallen in with. You take his robes and you begin to craft them, and you realize that Hiei's robe has become extremely frayed. A lot of it is, like, it's almost unworkable to put the magic in, actively phrase it out more in such a way that to continue to do so would destroy it. Unless you guys did something about it.
Hmm. Can I perhaps try and use some alchemy to perhaps make the cloth more resilient?
Yeah, sure.
Alright, I'll go with that then.
Craft alchemy.
35.
Okay, that's a critical success. That's literally 10 over the DC. Nice.
Okay.
I'm also going to do... I was also planning to do alchemy.
Sure. You can have it.
So here's my alchemy check, but that's not the only thing I'm trying to do.
Okay.
Of the creation of this object, my character, Anru, having seen just the state that he is in, she actually would use her daily allotment of extracts to slowly apply the healing extracts to the robe, hoping that some of the innate magic of the Cure Light wounds might seep into it. Also applying one of her mutagens of strength and constitution to it.
Okay, fair enough.
So basically, I'm burning all of my usables for the day, trying to see if hopefully any of the vigor or healing that normally goes with my alchemist class features might transfer over and help him get through this sickness that he has.
And through all of this, you guys come up with, like, the most flawless components you could get your hands on. The item costs 10% less to have put together, and in addition, I did, I'm not lying, I did a natural 1 the first one, a natural 15 the second one, and the third one is this number. So that's good. I don't know what exactly I want to do with it, because, like, with Hiei, with his status in the party questionable at the moment, I don't want to, like, haha, you have a cool thing. So what I'm going to do is... what am I going to do? Okay, here's what happens. You make the robe. The monk's robe is successful, and Hiei... Chase, if you're watching, Hiei has monk's robes now, and as you return, the robe, as you get to the top of the mountain, it animates, almost like ghostly, flies out of your hands to wrap itself around Hiei, and the two kitsune, a couple of older women, they look kind of like... There's definitely a familial resemblance, like perhaps they're sisters, cousins, something like that. They see it, and both of them just go, like, wide-eyed, jaw-dropping. And as they do this, everyone, like, in addition to, like, has a moment that the 5 of you kind of, like, for a split second, the energy that makes a humanoid soul, the 5 of yours, kind of like link together. And it's not like, oh, now we're Captain Planet. It's not like that, but it's enough to make a brief just snap of wild magic occur as this happens. One of the Kitsune women has a... I need to go to the Eastern weapons table. Because I don't necessarily want to be like, it's a wakizashi. Because that's... I mean, that's a good weapon, but also is boring. What else can I give you? You are... There's no... The only simple weapon is a hanbo. And it's not... It could work. Roll me, if you would, disarm a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Roll me a d8.
3.
And it's a 3. Okay, I don't know what that weapon is. Let's, I see it. I see what it is, but I gotta open the table here. It's a... The weapon is baton-like. It's fitted with a metal hook that... You guys have seen some of the more martial characters at the martial fighters at the monastery used to like block and pin opponents. The weapon is, I believe that's pronounced jute, Jutte. It is a light weapon.
The jite? Yeah, jites are awesome.
Not a. Is that what it is? That might be what it is. Oh man.
Spell it again.
Oh my god. Yeah,
Gitte.
It's spelled with a U.
Yeah, jites are awesome.
It's spelled with a U in the table, but yeah, no, I looked it up. That's what comes up. I'm gonna start calling you Umezawa. You get some 1/1 counters and you can do stuff. And that is essentially, if you don't know what that means, it's a sai with one of the on the side gone, and that is a. The only bonus it has on it is the bonus it has naturally, which is to say it's a monk weapon and you can disarm, and for a small... It resizes itself because it's a +1 weapon, and so it does a d4 damage 20 times 2, and it is an agile weapon, so you can dex 2 attacking damage with it. The weapon, like, it just kind of, like, flies into Tarask's belt, the half side that just kind of, like, whoop, down in the side. The Kitsune are speechless. Hiei is speechless. And that's what the natural 20 will do. Free, +1, finessable weapon.
Is it bad that I want to sell it?
No.
It's not. You could sell it if you wanted to. It's free 2,000 gold. Or free 3,000 gold, excuse me.
Because that's kind of... I hate to say it, but that's not all that good for me, because now my unarmed strikes do more for me.
Yeah, that's for... No, they don't. As a small creature?
Yeah, no, they don't. Fair. Well, if he said,
they do.
He said that's a monk weapon.
Yeah.
That means you use your monk damage when you get monk levels.
Oh. Is that what that means? Whoa, I didn't know that. Holy crap. I gotta look at that. I did not know. I thought
monk weapons, if their normal damage is below what the monk's natural unarmed strike damage is, they get their monk damage.
Whoa! I didn't know that. I thought it was just you could use it in a flurry of blows. Sure. If that's how it is.
You can use it as a flurry of blows.
If you had your monk damage,
if something's normally a D4 and it's a monk weapon, the monks use their unarmed strike or their monk weapon thing. Damn. I mean, unless I've just been playing with people who did it completely wrong.
I've never heard that. I'm gonna look at that. That's holy crap. Damage. Where is damage?
I can go look it up right now.
Yeah, I'm looking at it too. I'm not saying like, oh, you're wrong, haha. But I've never heard that before.
That's always the way it was played. So
that's fair. Monk. Well, your damage wouldn't increase until 4th level monk. Tarask as a small creature.
Yeah, but monk robes make you count as 5 levels higher.
But if you don't have any... Oh, yeah, that's fair.
As a 5th level monk.
Yeah. Well, you don't go from 0 to 5th. You need the monk level first.
If the character is not a monk, she gains the AC and unarmed damage of a 5th level monk.
Oh shit, I didn't know that. I just always take him to buff my already existing monks. Nice. Fair enough, you got me.
I mean, I don't add the wisdom to my AC, so I still need to take that monk level, but...
That is fair. Okay, well, you can definitely sell it if you want to sell it to make 2,000 gold.
I mean, if I could apply my monk weapon damage to it, then I'm going to keep it.
I'm gonna rule that you can.
But let's find out. I mean, I'm gonna go find out, but you know, whatever y'all.
I looked at the table and it didn't say anything along those lines, but I'm gonna go ahead and rule that you can, because there's a lot of weapons in Pathfinder First Edition that like you just would never use for that exact reason. So you may. It does a d6 for you as a small monk.
All right then. Yep. 1d6, and I presume I can do dex to damage on that then.
Yes, sir. That is our house rules.
Yay! Long live dex to damage.
Long live Dex to damage! And that is all 3 monks' robes created. That means that's been a week. Or no, excuse me, that's been 9 days. Just over a week has passed.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but in the future I can like just enchant a weapon that's higher than that's already enchanted, right?
Yes, you can. You tack on the extra. So like, if you turn the corner and there's a +5 weapon sitting on the ground and you would have put Keen on it, it would just set you back 1,000 gold as the crafter.
Sweet.
Okay.
Which is not to say I'm gonna leave +5 weapons laying on the ground, but you understand.
But yeah. Well, that significantly increases my melee damage.
Why, yes, it does.
I go from dealing nothing at all to 1d6 +5 with a +6 to hit.
Got you back. Monk's robes are good. Okay.
And it really fits the setting, too.
It does. That's why I went to the Eastern weapons table. There are 8 weapons that aren't... there was one that just made no sense. It was... I've lost my tab. I have too many tabs open. I always get like 30 tabs open when I'm Pathfindering online. I think it was like
apparently that was a house rule we always played with because it's not actually listed. So I am incorrect.
Yeah, it is what it is. Anyway, what is our next move, guys? You guys still have basically all the time in the world. The villagers, like every night you guys go back to Yuli's Inn. It's feasting and song and dancing, and everyone is just overjoyed that you guys are there. But there is no response from the monastery or Kuratama.
How much do potions cost again?
Depends on what you're getting.
Well, we have 9,000 gold left, and we have plenty of time. How many potions do we want to make?
Hold on. If you've got 9,000 gold left, could I request Boots of Speed, which is 6,000? You can
Boots of Speed.
Yeah, and I can give you money to cover because it's not well.
What do I need to cast?
I don't think you have the caster level high enough for it. But
he doesn't need that. It's
haste.
Yeah, it's DC 15.
Yeah, it's basically click your heels to get 10 rounds of haste.
Mm-hmm. Actually, it'd be DC 20 because you cannot cast haste yet, and that's very good. Haste is one of the best spells in this game.
Well. Yeah, plus the Accelerist actually gains benefit from extra attacks with her flurry with haste. That's stacked with everything else she does.
You know what? I'll try it. I'll try and get that to work.
Alrighty, secret check is secret.
I'm going to use the hero point preemptively.
Okay, fair enough. So that is a... I'll go ahead and say...
19.
Seeing as it's for me, I'll expend my hero point for it.
Oh, excellent.
Everyone has a +16. All right, cool. Give me a percentage dice roll. Let's get it from Tiki this time. Let's get our Drow Noble involved.
All right, one sec. Set a percentage die.
Yes, sir. 68. That is... we already had planar peculiarity. Roll again. Let's see what else we can dig out.
69.
79. No. Okay, that's... Okay. That's... Okay. So Tarask begins to... I imagine, like, Anru removes her shoes and, like, enchant these. And
yes.
The process begins to happen, and there's a bit of inspiration from Tarask, and Tarask is very sure he's got it. He's got it nailed. I rolled a 14, and then you added the 8. You beat it on... Even before rolling, you beat it. And in the process of making it, which takes you guys another week, the laces that keep the boots up, they just kind of, as the magic is put into them, they disintegrate. The process of doing
Ninja Tabi.
The process of doing this, like, it causes... Is it truly like Ninja Tabi? Is that what Andrew wears?
Yeah.
Okay, in that case, the the part on the top, the thong that goes like between your toes. It just kind of into nothing. And try as you guys might, trying to put stuff back together, you are incapable of doing so. No mundane anything can seem to fit the qualification. You put it together and it just like falls apart on the spot. And like, oh, we'll try this string here. And here goes the string. And Andrew tries to put her shoe on and it just falls into nothingness again. You're unsure. I'll say that. You're not sure why this is happening. You think, well, no, you know. There's no like, figure it out, make this check. The shoe does seem to resonate when Andrew tries to put it on. And then like the string dies, but the string specifically does not. And then when she removes her foot, the shoe ceases to do so. And it dawns on Andrew first that the wearing her shoes and running around with them as an accelerist for as long as she has, they've bonded with her on more of a spiritual level. And to make them magical, it's going to require, you guys rolled regal requisite from the table. The item requires things along the lines of like a king's hair, a prince's kiss, some kind of participation from high-ranking nobility, or in this case, our drow noble. So
yes.
So Tarask is exempt from this one, but it's. I don't like falsify the ingredients or exploit noble ties with a knowledge nobility or use magic device, but Andrew has to come up with something. Open-ended skill check.
Open-ended skill check, you say? Well, I'll tell you what I plan to do, and then you can tell me if that works or not, and then what to roll.
Okay.
You say I feel that it's resonated with me.
Mm-hmm.
So I would be taking my own hair and braiding it into a rope, or the actual thong that would normally be there, snipping it, just a section of it, to actually make this tabby part of me. So probably also a little blood in the mix, because drow are normally use that kind of thing too in their crafting.
Okay.
So yeah, the what I try to use for the thong is now actually a rope made of my own hair.
Okay, give me a we'll call it UMD.
Use magic device?
Yeah.
Cool. Give me a sec. Why did that close? There we go.
16. Okay, so that's okay. It works. It doesn't necessarily, nothing like super fancy comes out of it. Andrew kind of feels like perhaps this is because being so far away from home, well, biological home, we'll say, for so long has weakened her tie, but it does allow it to resolve, and the item does gain 1 perk. Tiki, give me a percentage dice roll.
Alright then. 43.
Or Ross can do it.
You said me.
Well, you guys both can.
Well, whatever that works.
We'll see which one is better. A 43 would be...
sorry.
What is it for? Where's my table? I have misplaced the table. Here's it. 43 or 9.
Ah.
Okay, I think I like 43. Oh, yeah, 43 looks good. What does that do? That's... yeah, never mind. That's bad for you. We don't want the item to turn into sting and glow when a certain kind of enemy is nearby, because that's bad for the darkness fighter. I think we instead want... Okay. The item's the hardness of the item comes out 5 higher than usual. The process of the magic kind of like it calcifies your hair a little bit, which is kind of weird. But it's also like you won't feel your own hair rubbing against like the inside of your toe. And hardness plus 5.
Awesome. That kind of works considering how much wear and tear I put my shoes through.
Absolutely. As the accelerist, yeah, for sure. That's definitely on flavor. All right, so that means we have passed 15 days, just over 2 weeks. you guys get the feeling as these days pass, the party is basically going to go until you guys leave. It's
Okay. At this point, I would probably turn to Tarask. Well, we've given them 2 weeks. Given him 2 weeks to come up with his debt. Let's return to the monastery. If he can't do what he said he's going to do, we need to find someone else who can, and then afterwards make him pay for what he didn't do.
Very well. Let's get going then.
all right. You guys head back. The trip is uneventful. Takes a few days. Hero does follow along. Unless there's anything specific you guys want to
I
do.
imagine we ride on Hero for the most part.
Yeah, you probably
Because
do.
I'm very...
Yeah, because the two of us can.
Yeah, because I'm a small, pretty light dude.
Do you get the speed bonus from monk's robes if you're not a monk?
No.
Okay, fair.
It only
But I
counts as
do.
5 higher for other things. But yeah, you do. I don't.
So Honor's out riding horses at this point.
Well, natural horses, yeah, because my natural speed is 30 plus the 10 that I got automatically, and then bumping it up by what, 4 levels or 5?
By 5.
5.
By 5, that would actually mean that I am currently at.
Actually,
What,
you know,
8th level?
that was Hiei's backstory boon, or not his backstory boon, but his that horse saved you session 1 boon. We had said that it gets the advanced move speed of a monk, and it's a 3rd level monk. So what happens is, as Hero disappears as you're making the boots, and then he comes back, and you see that Hiei has his kimono has been like folded out under the saddle in such a way that Hero also is wearing monk's robes. His speed as a 3rd level monk is upped by 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's a horse with a move speed of 60 right now.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
And mine is a plus 20, so I'm moving at the original speed of a horse. And then when I pop my speed tincture, I'm doing 70.
Nice. Well, don't go that fast. You get in trouble. Speeding ticket.
I'm also
Hiki,
my speed, huh?
monk robes only increase your level by 5 for the AC and unarmed features.
Oh, that's
as well
right.
as
It
the
doesn't buff
summoned
you.
strike.
I thought
it just said monk features.
I thought it
Nope.
did too. My bad. Never mind. Then the horse is still just fast.
You said AC and unarmed?
Yeah.
Unarmed strike, yeah.
So that would be my velocity, and so I'm actually doing D10s with my torches now.
Gross. Okay, fair
And
enough.
then
Ew.
plus 2 to AC.
Regardless, Hero also has the monk's robes. You guys spend the few days heading back. It's uneventful unless there's anything you guys want to seek out and find, but there is. The first thing you guys are going to pass as you head back through a different part of the Forest of Spirits is you are going to pass the hut where the woman who... You guys remember as you left her hut to go back to the monastery... It feels like so long ago now. She told you guys to tell the master that Oriana said hello, the Taldan woman who's living out here.
Would you like to stop in? I think we should.
It is probably a good idea for us to talk to her. How she's doing.
Okay.
All right, so
You guys do so. You approach the hut. Make perception checks, if you would.
Correction, Farron, make a perception check.
Okay, so...
Farron, make a good perception
Nice.
check. There
Okay,
we go.
so you guys pull up, and even for the Forest of Spirits, it's really quiet. Tarask doesn't think that much of it. Honor is just kind of like, it's a little ambushy here. But it's Farron that realizes as you get up to the door to the hut, it's hanging just slightly ajar and off its top hinge. The breeze picks up behind you guys and blows the door forward and blows it open. And you can see from inside, like, all of those books, all of those alchemical reagents, everything have been thrown just everywhere. It's a huge, huge state of disarray. You don't see Oriana.
Very, very concerning. I'll just hop off of Hero and begin walking towards the house.
Okay, what's that survival check for, Tiki?
Well, it was going to be to try to track the progress of whatever scuffle went inside.
Yeah, you can't really.
So
It doesn't necessarily look
can't
like a
discern it.
scuffle. Like, you can't two towers it. It's more just like everything seems to have fallen off the shelves at once, more or less. And Farron, or not Farron, Trask goes inside. Is that right?
He stops at the door.
Okay. Well, you stop at the door, and you can definitely tell more now that you're closer. It just looks like a little miniature windstorm kicked up inside Oriana's hut. Everything not nailed to the floor basically has been disturbed in some way, shape, or form. It's a huge mess. You don't have line of sight all the way through the hut, but you don't see Oriana.
This is not good.
And then as like Tarask looks forward a little bit, you guys see she drops out of it. Wow, there goes my desk. I forgot my desk was broken. I put too much weight on that. It fell over. Congratulations, Twitch. And YouTube. There's the token. I click here. Oriana pops out of invisibility. Her owl sitting on her shoulder, and she has a dagger in each hand, made in the Taldan style, which is super foreign to you guys. And she just she comes up with both the daggers raised and the owl screeching. And then she sees Teres. She's, oh, it's you. Oh, come in, child. I'm sorry. I was just cleaning up. And she begins picking up all the scrolls and books and things that have fallen all over everywhere, hastily jamming things back in some semblance of where they belonged.
Being an alchemist, I would start collecting the alchemical items that I believe would go together and try to help her clean up as well.
Okay, fair enough. A lot of them have been ruined. A lot of vials of half-made alchemist fire have been shattered on the ground, and all the stuff has been exposed to air, and so is useless now. Some things have been water from that big old not mechanically, don't read too much into this, but the witch's cauldron that sat in the center has been knocked over, and water has spilled over scrolls and spell books and things of that nature, which have ruined them as well. It's a huge mess, but as Onru comes in and moves her around, just, no, child. I can handle this. Please, both of you, sit down. And she picks up a couple of chairs that have been knocked over, and the backs of them have been bent back. She leans up the chair and starts you guys would both recognize the casting of mending, but she leans up and touches her owl, and the owl goes in and starts almost like woodpecker pecking into the chair to deliver a touch spell over 10 minutes essentially. Just please sit down. I'll make some tea. I'm so sorry for the mess. How are you?
Very concerned at the moment.
Oh, little one, you don't have any need to be concerned. These things happen sometimes.
When I was told to sit down, I would just continue collecting items and picking them up and putting them in order. It's OCD, sorry.
Yeah, fair.
Anybody that's actually dealt with potions for a while knows you can't have certain ingredients out near each other, that kind of thing.
Makes sense.
It's safety reasons.
Safety reasons, indeed. Oh, man.
Do you... Tarask just stays at the doorway, kind of just narrowing his eyes as she says, little one.
Okay. She ignores you. You don't enter the house. She seems kind of just lost in the rapidly putting her house back together.
So who has done this to your abode?
Oh, you guys don't need to worry about it. It's not that big a deal. There was a storm. It knocked all this stuff over. It's nothing I can't handle. I know I live out here by myself, and little Stavian and she pets the owl, whose name certainly must be Stavian, and he woo as he's continuing to deliver the mending into this little chair. we can handle ourselves. It doesn't happen that often.
Just kind of continuing to look around the room. Can I perhaps roll a knowledge arcana to see if I have any idea what sort of spell could do this to a built room like this?
You certainly may.
26.
26.
Speak. Is she older than us?
Yeah, she's, for a human woman, she looks to be perhaps in her 60s, 70s.
It's like, Obasan, you should not, have to deal with these types of things by yourself. If you are having trouble, please tell us. You are friends with our monastery, and we owe you a life debt.
Oh, it's nothing. It doesn't happen that often. It's fine. And as she's like constantly just making excuses for herself, Tarask, by the choice of Tarask's deity, has determined the meta of the story a little bit. In this setting, all magic is split into 5 different elements based on the teachings of the Master of Medicine, Qijong. Those being, of course, water, earth, metal, fire, and wood. Every spell that anyone casts ever draws from, according to his teachings, these elements. So, like, when someone casts Cure Light Wounds, and it's widely understood that they're pulling a positive energy from the plane of positive energy and applying it directly to the forehead. Directly to the forehead. There you go. That worked a little better. From the point of view of a follower of Qijong, it's a little more like water and earth, perhaps a little fire in the case of like someone's bleeding, need to cauterize, that sort of thing.
Or wood.
Or yeah, wood would work as well to make fibers to make stitches. Yeah, I like that. For this, it seems to be more like any of the elements of any of them. Probably you would expect fire. You would expect that destruction, that wild passion that is often associated with that element applied here in a microcosm, essentially in a more mechanical sense, because like that's not the whole answer. It kind of looks like somebody walked in here and cast Control Winds, just in a very enclosed space, knowing what it would do, and concentrated on it long enough to like kick up a mini cyclone, and then letting everything just drop. Never had a follower of Qijong before, and I like that flavor a lot. We need more kineticists.
This is very clearly someone's attempt to harm you. I sense a lot of negative magic about here.
It's, little one, it's fine. I promise. It's okay. I'm fine. Sometimes he just comes here, okay? And when he does, sometimes he gets angry. And when he doesn't get what he wants, this happens. Now, let me finish cleaning. She begins to get a little frustrated at the fact that you're just standing in the doorway. Then I'll put the tea on, and we can forget this ever happened.
Who's he?
That's not a question I can answer. I need you to understand that.
I'm gonna sense motive that.
Okay.
Natural 20!
Boom! Okay, so as you bring this up, you say who's he, her hands begin to visibly shake. The owl also seems to, as a familiar of an advanced spellcaster, it's smarter than the average bear and certainly smarter than the average owl as well. And so, like, they're both visibly very concerned about this. Tarask, correct me if I'm wrong, you'd spend a lot of time in your training in the monastery traveling, right? A lot of extracurriculars,
studying. Yeah.
So in the process of that, Tarask knows more so than Enrud, he being cloistered in, or from the Darklands. Each of the 5 schools of magic is represented by one particularly very, very powerful spellcaster. And they all used to serve. I'm going to take the lore and bend it to my will for this point, but they all used to serve in the province of Tangma, which is far to the south, and the leadership is just a bunch of sorcerers with different bloodlines. Until it wasn't that long ago that the flame-blooded sorcerer got angry at everyone over you don't know why, no one does, and if they do, they're keeping their mouths shut about it, and left. Just took off. In the process of doing so, Tangma is in a pretty big state of disarray right now. There's a pretty big college of arcane magic in the region, and the 5 leaders of Tangma are also the 5 headmasters, and that college has all but disbanded in the after effect of this. And
but I know this person's name.
You would not. Their names are kept very secret. They're just master of X. That X being water, earth, metal, fire, wood, right?
All right. Then I'm just going to look around the room and say, I'm going to guess the Master of Fire.
Oriana looks like she stops dead as she's in the process of sweeping up a busted vial of alchemical something or other. Just, child, you need to be careful where you say that. Things are happening that are above everyone's heads, and if you guys get caught in it, look, word it's reached me here that you drove the hobgoblins out. Word's reached me here they were led by some kind of Darklands creature.
Look over to Anru.
Darklands is my home, yes.
No, I look over to her with you knew the creature better than I did at the moment.
Oh, yeah, I would describe the creature
Iridescent.
that was the leader. I never remember. Yeah, the Iridescent.
Yeah.
They're very, very...
Teres doesn't look, it's it's your fault, you're from the Darklands. He looks more like this is more your area of expertise than mine.
She nods. It's pretty clear she understands what an iridescent is, as Anru explains it back. Just... Look, the two of you you need to worry about yourselves right now. Things aren't going well. And I imagine that will be pretty common pretty soon for a lot of people.
Oba-san, you should probably return with us to the monastery for safety.
No, I need to go away. I need to go back to Apara. It's not safe for me here.
Where is Apara?
Apara is make a knowledge local. No, not even. Not for the Dragon Empires. Make a knowledge history. Yeah.
21.
Okay, Apara is the capital of Taldor, which is on the other side of the world. You guys know what it is in the same way that someone living in Taldor might have heard the name Kasai, the capital of Minkai, or the capital of Imperial Lunghua a long, long time ago. Used to be a huge empire, now it's just a little tiny nation state. And she is clearly Taldan. She speaks pretty good Tien, but it's very heavily accented.
You're heading back to the inner seas.
Yes. Maybe he can't find me there.
One is curious what you're doing in here to begin with.
While they're speaking, I would grab the kettle off of our pack and start making tea myself using my torch as the heat source.
Okay. Understood. I came here... Oh, it must have been 15 years ago. I wanted to see the Forest of Spirits before my time here on Galarian ended. It's a beautiful place, and it's a place where things happen that, where I'm from, it's just unheard of. There's too much political intrigue in Taldor right now. Here it's quiet. Here I can live my life. And now I can't. So maybe I can go to the Verduran Forest. Maybe the gnomes will take me in. Those are, well, you've been to the Kitsune village. You've seen the Sphere of Neblin. You've seen, especially you, looking at Onru. They're kind of like you, Tarask. They're small, but they're very colorful. They're like me. They have to see the world, and if they don't, bad things happen.
So I would pour up some calming tea for Obasan and hand it over to her.
Okay. She drinks it. She just kind of like half smiles. Still, she's pretty shaky as she picks up the cup.
At
She
this
doesn't
point,
drop
Tarask
anything.
will sit down. He'll step inside and sit.
Tarask, we do not actually need to return to the monastery immediately. How about we escort her to where she wishes to go?
No, that's unnecessary. It's so far. I can't ask you guys to do that. And the journey,
We are on a journey.
you are.
At the moment, we are looking for better healers. Are these individuals you speak of as talented in using perhaps more divine magic?
Assuming you survive over the crown of the world, assuming we can pass through the realm of the Mammoth Lords without being devoured by the megafauna that live there, assuming we get through the lands of the Lenorm Kings with our heads intact, assuming we make our way south through Varizia, through not safe places, yes, but believe me when I say, little one, I can travel faster by myself. Let me look. Just I've stayed too long. I've said too much. I need to leave. And she stands up, and as she does so, she frantically-ish begins looking around her hut, and she grabs. It kind of looks like a spell book, but more like time for visual aid. More like this is Doomsday Dawn. This kind of book, as opposed to like big tome. And there are two.
It's notes.
No, it's like a spell pamphlet, I suppose. Is a good way to put it. There's literally just 2 pages, or like a spell sketchbook. That's another one. They contain. Oh. I'm gonna roll this. I can divide it. Okay, so a couple of 3rd level divine spells. Well, no, that's a little too. My player can play with it too much. It contains, we'll say fireball and fly. She pulls the pages from the book and just here. Onru, if you need a scroll, you can use these as a scroll. Tarask, if you want to put these in your spell book, you're welcome. Now, I'm sorry, I have to go. And she just walks out of her hut. The owl flies, lands on her shoulder, and as soon as she crosses the threshold, there's a bit of a snap as she disappears.
Well, I did not realize Obasan had magical means of travel when I said we should escort her, but
The more we seek to get answers, the more questions we are presented so far.
Onward would continue to straighten up until she has all the alchemical items and such sorted into ruined and usable, and away from the ones that would actually cause a reaction.
Okay, most of them are pretty ruined. You might. You spend enough time moving stuff around, you can come across like. I need to get like a D6. That's what I've just. What am I doing? It is Roll20/R, but not in the Twitch chat because that will help no one. /R 1d6. Boom. A single potion of cure moderate wounds, caster level 5th. We can do a little better than that.
Okay.
And 2 potions of bark skin, also caster level 5th.
You'd write those down for yourself, Tarask. I'd hand them off to you.
Okay.
I was actually looking, more at materials as well, but that's actually really good. Potions are good.
Yeah, most of the
Potions
materials
always
are,
good.
Most of the materials are pretty ruined.
Okay, well, I wouldn't actually be leaving here until I get the room in mostly in array.
Okay,
So
that's fair. It takes the better part of the day. A lot of it's just a huge mess in a really confined space. To paint a better picture, Tiki as a truck driver, it's like a huge mess in that confined space. There's not a lot of ground to cover, but there's so much stuff on the ground that there's a lot of doubling back. A lot of like put this thing in a place, then realize that place was this place, and moving it over there disturbs more.
oh, I know, I live this.
Yes, you do. But you guys are able to get it done. Nothing disturbs you.
If she's doing that, I will ask her if it's all right for me to spend some time preparing some more supplies for us.
Indeed.
All right, and then I'm just gonna basically spend all 6 spell slots and all of my spell slots making more potions of cure, and make a lot more of cure light wounds and a whole lot more of cure moderate wounds.
Okay, fair enough.
All the potions. Do I even need to roll with a plus 16?
Yeah, no, you're fine. They're not like, oops, it's an inflict potion. Ah, that doesn't happen. You're able to come through pretty easy. And there's when I say most of the ingredients in Oriana's hut are ruined, it's more like a solid 95%. You can scavenge enough bric-a-brac together that you can get the rest of it together, and it helps a little.
100.
It does get... Night does fall on the forest as you guys do this, though.
Alright then.
This is actually probably going to be a really good stopping spot, and I need to go.
Oh, fair.
Oh.
That I heard. Okay, yeah, we can knock off a little early. I will say now I am going to be on vacation next weekend, so I'm not going to be here for Through Dragons. We will work something out at some point, because this is a pay-to-play game. We'll figure out some kind of something somewhere along the line to make up for it, but if that's the case, fair enough. So be it. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you again, Ross and Tiki, for hanging out, and we'll be back on Tuesday, though. We're going to miss next weekend's cycle. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to record extra Kingmaker and upload it, so something happens over the weekend on BDG. But on Tuesday, we do have another rounds of prologues for Tales from the Greenwich Colonies. They upload a little slower on the YouTube channel, but you can see both of our dwarves this Tuesday, 6 p.m. Central Time. And remember, it's Black Dragon Gaming on YouTube. For all your Pathfinder first, second, and computer needs. I can say that now. Be sure to like and subscribe. Say bye, guys.
Bye.
Yes, beer and beating things up. Let's go!
Nice.